looks exciting. And we're not even going to wait around. So we've got 2 going for it. So just as a quick kind of correction on the top hand, it's not going to be Thunder Dragon Horus, it's Gate Guardian with Horus. I know that sounds crazy as well, but we've got a lot of Gate Guardian cards in this list. It does involve Ancient Fairy Dragon, and the idea is that you're trying to bridge together some of the Horus cards, utilizing the field spell for that one, working yourself into the Labyrinth Wall as well, and using the Gate Guardians. But it looks like we're going to be seeing straight off the back that Inyar is going to be starting off with his Snake-Eyed Ashen strategy.
And that's a Vados.
Straight for Vados. And do you know what? I don't know how this has happened, but it must be by some way of fate. But Vados is really good at outing field spells.
Oh yeah, it's the anti-field spell deck against the field spell deck.
Yeah. Like, Tom wants to be utilizing the field spell so much. So this is going to be very, very interesting. And we're starting to see that it looks like Inyar has kind of really understood what he wants to try and achieve here, going into one of the brand new, more recent of the Ashen fusion monsters, Embers of the Ashened. And now we're going to be seeing Snake Eyes. I can imagine Tom's just like, what?
So you see an oak here, and everyone's favorite card is about to come to the board, Snake Eye Ash. I can take over here.
Yeah,
so do Snake Eye Ash, and then we search, usually Snake Eye Poplar. So back in the day, you make Link Rebo, make Flamberge Dragon. I assume we're going to search Poplar. When Poplar is added to the hand, you get to special summon itself. And then you guys to search for a Snake Eye card, which here is going to be the Divine Tempo of Snake Eye.
Yeah, I really do like the way that Snake Eyes worked in that ability to push monsters into the Spell and Trap zones, because it kind of made it a little bit awkward for Spell and Trap style decks and wanting to control those zones.
Yeah.
But then it also puts monsters in a position where it's very tricky to get them back out of them. Like, you kind of want your monster to be in your deck, in the hand, or in the graveyard, or mainly on the field. But in the monster zones, not the Spell and Trap zones, and that's where Flamberge Dragon really comes into its own and can make it very, very tricky for a lot of duelists.
Yeah, so some of the Flamberge Dragon here uses this effect with the Snake Eye Diabellstar to place back the Snake Eye Ash, and then he's gonna fusion summon for the Snake Eye Doom Dragon. You can summon by using 2 monsters in the Spell and Trap, 2 face-up monsters in the Spell and Trap zones. The Poplar was not activated yet, so Poplar gets to play Snake Eye Ash back. So basically, we kind of seem to have used the Snake Eye as an advantage engine here.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have sped through in a good way. Like, it kind of shows the confidence, shows it know what it needs to. And now it's going to be Tom's turn to try and interact with this field and probably give Inyar a bit of a shock surprise themselves. With the Foolish Barrel of Goods, we're trying to work our way into the Rainbow Bridge. And the reason we're going to want to try and be doing into that one, going through the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, is that you're trying to get to access of one of your field spells, whether that be Walls of the Imperial Tomb, or whether that be your Shadow Wall as well. Or you could go for the World of the Spirits. There's just loads of different actions here, but going for Labyrinth Wall Shadow gets you access to Gate Guardian, or we're going to be going for the Wall of the Imperial Tombs.
Yeah, we see from Ewan's side, he uses the Flamberge Dragon effect to summon the Snake Eye Ash. Snake Eye Ash gets to summon another copy of Poplar. Poplar's first summons itself, and Snake Eye is known for this resource loop, right? Like, it's kind of like Burning Abyss in the sense that it's sticky, and all the cards keep replacing themselves, and you keep putting the Snake Eyes, the Diabellstar back in the Spell and Trap zone, and you keep generating advantage that way. We do see him going for that's the Crystal Beast. We should do like the brick.
Yeah, so this is the Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon, and you have to play this card in order to utilize the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. But what that does work, and this is why it works so well with the Horus monsters, is by being able to get Walls of the Imperial Tomb, you then have that additional discard fodder that you're going to need to utilize. And if that wasn't enough, we're going to be seeing a lot of cards on this one. So we get to see Cosmo Queen, the Queen of Prayers. So as long as there is a field spell is activated, you get to special summon it from the hand in defense position, so it does need to be shifted slightly. You get to target one face-up card in your field zone and then activate the appropriate effect based on which player controls that card. If it's you, you destroy it and then add any field spell from the deck to the hand with a different name. If it's your opponent, which our opponent currently does have one, you negate its effects until the end of the turn, and then you get to add a field spell from the deck to your hand. So both of these players have kind of inadvertently seen that the current format for Genesys right now, or at least in this matchup, definitely want to be utilizing field spells quite a bit.
So many field spell interactions between the Cosmo Queen and the Vados. We're going to see a super polymerization being used by one to get rid of this Cosmo Queen and make a Predator and Draxapelia, so that's another layer of interruption added to his board here. I don't think he seems to have any cards in hand though, so this might mean that we're going to be seeing Horus cards do what they do, which is generate a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and I think this is why it's quite important, because Imseti is actually kind of pointed It's got quite a high point. The Glory of Horus has got quite a high point allocation to it. But this is where you can utilize the Wall of the Imperial Tomb to kind of mitigate that point. Not restriction, but kind of that limit on the deck build. And this is a 50-card deck, which is quite impressive because you get a 50-card deck, you'll be able to use your points, or you have to spread your points a little bit thinner to cover everything along that list. But going straight into the King's Sarcophagus, we're now going to see the Horus monsters kind of enter the field of play. Definitely going to be able to start utilizing that Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon as that discard fodder. And we are playing 5 Horus monsters in the main deck. One being Blessing, 1 Guidance, 1 Protection, 1 Glory, and then we're also playing the Horus the Black Flame Deity as well.
Yeah, so Deity is the one you see less often because it does not special summon itself from the graveyard, right?
Correct.
It special summons itself from the hand if you have control of King's Sarcophagus. I guess it does get you search it with the Imperial Tomb, so if he already has access, like Kim said, he can use Tomb to get Deity. But we're going to be seeing here, the Horus cards apply a lot of pressure because they basically make your board really hard to interact with, because if you interact with one card, you end up triggering the effect of the others. So Happy and Imseti and Duamutef start generating advantage from your opponent interacting with your cards. He does seem to have this card around the Gate Guardian cards here. Is that the Ryoku?
Yeah, so this is the Ryoku card. It's actually quite the aggressive option for the Gate Guardian. So it's the Ryoku Gate Guardian. And as long as your life points are lower, which is kind of doable in this build to reduce your life points a little bit less, you get to target a monster you control with Gate Guardian in its original name, halve your opponent's life points. Wow.
Okay.
And then that monster gains attack equal to your opponent's life points. You banish it from the graveyard to add a Sagnar, Kazujin, or a Suijin that is banished or in your deck to the hand.
Oh, this is really good here because it's basically like a free discard for King's Sarcophagus, right? And you want to be getting those Gate Guardian monsters into the graveyard to then be able to go into your Gate Guardian fusion monsters.
Correct. So once you be able to get them into the graveyard, you'll be able to go into your Gate Guardian combined, as this is one of the only ones that lets you special summon it by banishing the above cards from the hand, field, and or graveyard. Oh. So the benefit of this one is it's a 3,750 boss monster, and on top of that is when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets any card or cards you control, you get a quick effect to negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card.
So this is like ABC Dragon Buster, but Gate Guardian.
And you get to use that effect 3 times per turn, 1 for each piece. And on top of that one is if this face-up special summon card in its own control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you get to special summon a level 11 or lower Gate Guardian monster from the deck or extra deck, which can ultimately open up the door to the spell or trap negation if you want it.
Yeah, but we're gonna, rather than seeing the Gate Guardian part of the engine here, we're going to be seeing the Ancient Fairy Dragon package that Tom is playing. So he seems to normal summon the Regulus, I believe, which adds the Spur Trap Dimensions Ancient Fairy Dragon. If you lets it resolve, because there is a Predator Exopedia on the field. The Ancient Fairy Dragon is a very cool bridge, one of my favorite cards, because it allows you to play those very weird decks that go from engine to engine by bridging by field spell.
Yeah.
So you're able... One of my favorite decks of all time is a Kashtira Dragon Link deck, because you would use the Kashtira monsters, and then you destroy the field spell to search like Dragon's Ravine or like Boot Sector Launch and bridge into your Dragon cards.
Yep.
And Ewan here is using it to add the Ancient Fairy-esque field spell, which is World of Secrets?
Yeah, so the World of Spirits, yeah. And then this allows you to add a monster that mentions Ancient Fairy Dragon from the deck to the hand. So that's going to be able to get you direct access to possibly the Spore, which is the tuner that's going to start opening up the door to some of your Synchro plays, because it can manipulate its level in order to do so.
Yeah. It does have an effect that in the end phase, it destroys all the attack position monsters in the turn player's field. So Tom, I assume, he probably knows this, he has to be careful about not destroying his own field with this card. Like his Horus monsters he just summoned.
Yeah, exactly that. And I feel that we're probably going to find a way to either synchro those off if we do decide to use that, or we're going to be trying to replace it. And I think we're going to see an Ancient Fairy Dragon to replace it.
There you go.
And I feel that the final piece of the puzzle that we're going to be seeing here, going through 3 different field spells, is possibly going to be Labyrinth Wall Shadow.
We went on a world tour.
Yeah, we have gone on a world tour.
We went to Egypt, and then we went to the World of Spirits, and now we're going to the Labyrinth Wall.
And this is what makes Labyrinth Wall so scary. So monsters cannot attack the turn they are summoned, except monsters whose original level is 5 or higher. Ancient Fairy Dragon and all of the Horus monsters fit that requirement. Unfortunately, for Tom, I guess, some of the monsters on Enya's side is also going to be above that level, apart from like the Snake Eyes, Poplar, Ash, and everything in between. Yeah. But you also then get to place one Sagnar, the Kazujin, or Suijin that is banished or in the hand or deck face up into your spell and trap zone.
That's Kazujin, I think?
That is Kazujin.
The wind one, right?
Yeah. And you want them to be face up in your spell and trap zones in order to go for the little pieces, which is usually like your Sagnar with your Kazujin or your Kazujin with your Suijin. And then you want them in the graveyard to go into the combined creation.
Yeah. I really like the Gate Guardian cards when I watch the anime.
Yeah.
The Paradox episode is one of my favorite ones with the brothers.
Yeah.
So it's really cool seeing this deck be displayed in action here.
Well, we mentioned this yesterday on the UK Open stream. We were saying how we wanted to see Gate Guardian come into play. We've literally just seen Bones and Odeon kind of come together, and now we're about to see what happens when the Paradox brothers come together in modernized Yu-Gi-Oh! As well.
Oh, so because it's in the spell and trap zone, you get to actually use it as a material for Magistro Shoroso, which is a card we see a lot in current with the Magistro Dracotail strategy, but it's a way of getting a tuner monster. So because I think is Kazajin a spellcaster?
Yes, I believe they are. They're all spellcasters.
So basically, I guess you use that from the spell and trap zone as one of the materials for Magistro Shoroso, unlocking the Kazajin to go into the graveyard, which might potentially make us summon the Ultimate Gate Guardian, the 3 material fusion. And now we're gonna synchro summon.
I wonder if we're gonna see a Snake Eyes of his own on this one.
Oh
and
yeah,
that's exactly what we do see.
Vengeance Dragon. So this card's really cool because it allows to target a monster on the field or either graveyard in the spawn trap zone. So this has a couple weird complications here, because if he puts a monster in the spawn trap zone, he can summon it back with the with the temple.
The Divine Temple, yeah.
So you need to be aware of that interaction, because he's putting the Drago's Apilia, but now if he chooses to summon again, he would be able to use the Divine Temple
to push it back
up.
Is that no? I was just wondering if you. I'm just gonna push it straight back on. Like, don't worry, it's not going anywhere.
I think he could use the Flumbird, but I think he used the Flumbird at the start of the turn to push the Snake Ash up. But that is a very funny interaction.
Yeah.
What?
Just try. I think it destroys. So during the main phase, target a face-up monster on the field, or in either graveyard, place it into the spell and trap zone. During the battle phase, quick effect, target one monster and a continuous spell on the field, destroy them both.
I see. So he's going to use the Flumbers there to float into Snake Eyes Oak and Snake Eyes Poplar. Oak could add a monster, level 1 monster from the graveyard to the hand, but I don't know if he has a target for it, because I do see both Poplars and an Ash on the field.
Yeah, I think that's everything on there. I think the most thing we're trying to do here from Neo's side is to kind of mitigate the amount of damage that's going to go through here. Yeah. They're just explaining the shifts on the spell and traps. Yeah. And I think the reason that we haven't seen the Gate Guardian combine is that we're still missing Suijin.
Yes. One of the things here is the Snake Eyes Diabellstar does have an effect in the battle phase that can be a bit scary to deal with.
Yeah.
That if it's part of a battle, it can put itself and the monster that it battles on the spawn trap zone, and that's really scary because it would allow Yuan to use the Divine Temple to summon back the monster from Tom that he puts in the spawn trap zone. So you're gonna see them navigate here on this non-expected Snake Eye mirror match.
Yeah, kind of a weird turn of events here, but it still thinks that like both duelists are in this. This is quite completely different from the previous duel we just saw, because on the previous duel we saw a lot of cards in the spell and trap zones, and now we're seeing a lot of monsters in the monster zones
and in the spell and trap zones.
Yeah, and in the spell and trap zones. So this is quite an interesting development, and they're just doing the calculations now of the amount of damage that's going to be going through off of the back of Snake Eyes Ash, because remember the temple does increase their attacks.
Yeah. The Horus monsters are going to be good here at clearing this critical mass of monsters.
Yeah.
You might see the Snake Eyes Poplar activate here to put back a resource. So like you can put the Flumverge back in the spawn trap zone, which means that if Tom commits another summon, we get to have this Flumverge again.
Yep.
And the Snake Eyes Diabellstar is probably going to stay there, but it's a bit terrifying. It's he did summon a lot of monsters, but Iwan like still has a board.
Yeah, it's still both duelists kind of playing, and like you said, trying to control. And we looks like Priestess.
Oh, that's one of the Ashen cards.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Ashen Priestess off the top is actually a really good card on this one. It's one of the better starters for the Ashens, and I think like Anua is just kind of thinking about what to go for, but it's trying to be a little bit cautious of the additional effects of the Horus monsters, that you don't run into those, because they can be quite devastating.
It's really hard to play against Horus. It was really relevant in Snake Eye format, ironically enough, which was like this Horus decks with like Horus Stun that play like Majesty's Fiends, and they would just like kind of just establish a bunch of Horus monsters, and like, okay, I give my Floodgate and I have a bunch of Horus monsters. In case you out my Vanity's Fiend, suddenly I am triggering Imsadi, I'm triggering Happy, I'm getting Floodgate back. So it is going to be a tricky scenario here. I also need to remember the Snake Eye Vengeance Dragon is an interrupt.
Yeah. think they're just clarifying some of the cards floating around where they need to go. It looks like we're bringing the Poplar back to the field.
Maybe one of them couldn't attack. I'm not sure what happened there, but we're gonna see the Priestess being summoned, right? The Ashen Princess.
Yeah, so you get into access to the Ashen Princess. This is kind of open up the door to the Ashen side of the deck. So you do specifically need the Obsidian, the Ashen City, to then special summon it from the hand, but we can use it as our normal summon anyway. And it allows us to add any Ashen card directly from the deck to the hand.
Yep.
And this is where Ashen can get very, very scary because they can actually work their way into, or their ideal goal will be Vidos, the Dragon of Endless Darkness.
Which is a really cool name.
Yeah, even amazing artwork as well.
It also has synergy with the Snake Eyes because the materials for it are 2 level 9 or lower pyro monsters, which are Snake Eye monsters, right?
Everything you could possibly need, and all you need is of the Vidos, which you very easily can get access to in the deck now, thanks to some of the newer cards.
And the Vidos would be able to out the Labyrinth field spell on, the Labyrinth Fall field spell on the side, which is going to be happening here. So we're going to be seeing the Vidos be able to send the Labyrinth Fall to the graveyard to summon itself. It summons your opponent's side of the field, right?
Correct, yeah. I think it's very important that we get rid of that Labyrinth Fall, though, because sometimes you need to remember the additional effect of the Labyrinth Fall that monsters cannot attack the turn as summoned, except the level 5 or highers.
Oh, yeah.
So it would mean that, that additional strength that those lower level Snake Eyes monsters are getting would be kind of irrelevant with that card in play.
Yeah, and he gets to set one of the Ashen trap, Ashen to Endlessness.
Yeah.
Which is the one that allows you to fusion summon. But I don't believe you're able to use it this turn. Doesn't have anything.
No, so there's no way to use it this turn, but the idea is that once you get to use that to bring out the Vidos, the Dragon of Endless Darkness, it can't be destroyed by card effect, and your opponent cannot target it with monster effects, which is quite important to play around the Doom Dragon. But then if it is fusion summoned, you get to destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls, so that will get rid of the King's Sarcophagus.
Yeah.
And then if another field spell is put into play, it'll also get rid of that.
Because with the Horus cards, you basically need to get rid of the King's Sarcophagus, right? Outing the monsters, even if he was able to, let's say, Raigeki the field here, it wouldn't really... A, you can't do it because of King's Sarcophagus. B, it wouldn't really be useful because they could just come back next turn for free.
Exactly that. So many to control that resource. But the benefit of being able to use the Fusion Trap card, I believe, it allows you to use the Vidos on your opponent's side of the field.
Oh, actually, because the field spell got sent for Vidos, I think he got to trigger Duamutef. And that drawn him like 5 cards or 6 cards or something. That's one of the things the Horus cards. Like one mistake, suddenly they trigger. And it might be punishing you on here. It's demoralizing.
I mean, the draws are good, but can you do anything with them is the big question. I feel that is something that Anua is probably a little bit... This is what I said, like the hidden effects, not even hidden, they're there to see, but they're kind of effects that don't really come out as often. More times than not, you'll see the Horus monsters be utilized as like overlay materials. Yeah. But now we're being able to utilize them standing on their own, basically. Yeah. And those kind of effects can be massively game changers we might have just seen here. Yeah,
and some of the things with Genesys, like there's so many effects. There's so many things like... I would be really surprised if either of them had ever played against anything similar to what they're playing against right now, right? Like, I don't think it's like, oh yeah, I always practice against Gate Guardian Horrors, you know? Yeah. So they're learning on the fly.
I think that's what makes it so exciting as well, because it's very, very... like loads of twists and turns. Yeah. So you start off with like Snake Eyes, you go, okay, cool, we're going down to Snake Eyes, and then you're like, and here's my Ashen. You're like, wait, what? And then on the flip side, Tom just instantly, as we saw previously, went from, like you said, a trip around the world. Yeah. So you go, here's the Horus cards. Oh, I know what the Horus cards do. I can handle this. Wait, Ancient Fairy Dragon? Yeah. Huh? And then, oh yeah, by the way, Gate Guardian? I think that's the amazement of this game.
Nah, it is really funny. We're going to be seeing he used the effect of the dragon to pop the Flumberge. Yeah. But that's gonna mean the Flumberge is gonna trigger here, right? Yeah. And we're about to see the Snake Eye resource loop because Ash is gonna trigger and Oak's gonna trigger. I don't know if he has a target for Snake Eye Ash, but he does have a target for Oak for sure.
Yeah. So there's still an Ash left in deck. I think both Poplars are currently in the graveyard.
Yes. But the Oak could be able to summon a Poplar back. I don't know if he's going to choose to do so. He does only play 1 copy of Doom Dragon. So Doom Dragon is a card that could be a threat here. Yeah. But it's already in the graveyard. He has used the Snake as the Abelster that has attacked, put himself in the Spell Trap zone, should then special summon back. A funny interaction is that if Ewan is able to establish Flumberge Dragon on the field again, he would be able to use Flumberge Dragon to target his opponent's Snake Eyes Doom Dragon and summon it to his side of the field.
Yeah, wow, okay.
So that is one of those things that, like, Vengeance Dragon, sorry, not Doom, not Doom Dragon. Too many Snake Eyes Dragons.
Doom Dragon and Flamberge.
But we do see him going into the Ashen Fusion here. It's the same one he summoned at the start of the turn.
Yeah. So this is the Embers.
Yeah, but I don't believe that he has access to the trap because I think the Vengeance Dragon destroyed the trap.
Yeah.
Which is a very good recognition from Tom that maybe he doesn't know that trap summons, but I would be scared of it.
Yeah, you don't want it to be going into the big fusion Vidos. That could be causing a lot of issues here.
Yeah, so it goes back to Tom. Tom has 3 Horus monsters that have not summoned themselves, a Vidos, and a lot of cards in the hand.
Yeah, big time. Remembering the I think it's the Imseti that's in the middle currently has that Predap counter on it. So its level has actually been adapted. It's not a level 8 anymore, so you can't even use that as overlay materials. Just have a quick look to see if there are any rank 8s in Tom's deck on this one.
Yeah, it's interesting because usually when most of you get like Predap counters in advance, you get to link them off and then summon them back. But it actually doesn't happen in this scenario. So he might be stuck with the Imseti on the field, which is not the worst place to be. It is a 3000 attack monster with an effect.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see. We're going to see another copy of Foolish Burial Goods here. Oh, that's a cool thing.
Ryoku,
So we saw goods for Rainbow Bridge at the start of this game, but now he has to send the Ryoku. And the Ryoku can search for the Suijin, which is the Gate Guardian we're currently missing.
The life points are still not lower, so we won't be able to halve our opponent's life points right now.
Yeah, but we can use the Graveyard effect, right?
Correct, yeah. So we'll be able to add the Sanga, the Kazujin or Suijin, which, like you mentioned already, is the missing piece. We just need to get that Suijin to the graveyard.
Things are happening. Things
Here
are
we go.
Can you shuffle from hand, maybe?
I believe it is. If it's hand, grave.
Yeah. So there he goes. There comes Gate Guardians combined.
Absolutely. This is what that moment in the anime was all from, when you got to see the Paradox Brothers bring the Gate Guardians together.
Yeah, but this is what might happen now. So the Divine Temple has been triggered to push up the Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon.
Yeah.
And now we have the threat of the Flamberge Dragon summoning the Vengeance Dragon.
Yes, very true. But keeping in mind that the Gate Guardians combined will protect targeted effects.
Oh, okay. So if he tries to, even if he tries to summon, because the Naked Flamberge Dragon does target the card it summons, he would be able to negate it because he controls the Vengeance Dragon.
Oh, okay. So we're going to utilize one of the spell cards for the Gate Guardians, being Double Attack Wind and Thunder.
That is a cool name.
So as long as you control a Gate Guardian monster, which Tom currently does, you target a card in the field and destroy it. And then during your main phase, you get to banish it from the graveyard to add one of your Sanga, the Kazujin, or Suijins that is banished or in your deck to the hand. So you actually regain that resource as well.
It's a really good synergy piece between the Gate Guardians and the Horus cards, because a lot of the cards seem to generate advantage.
Yeah.
Like the Ryoku, basically you can discard it and it gets another card. Discard it. Even if you discard for a Horus thing, you get to get a banished one back, which would allow you to have ways of keep fueling your King Sarcophagus, your Imsides and your Divine Temples.
It kind of reminds me of playing ABC Dragons back in the day when you used to play ABC with Ajamas.
Yeah.
The Ajamas were just the fodder for the discards and allowed you to add a little bit more to the field.
Wait, so I think he attacked with the Gate Guardian into the
Deer
Bell, which now puts it in the spell and trap column.
Ooh.
Is it fusion summoned?
I believe it's special summoned.
Okay, so you're not able to summon it back with the Snake Eyes Slumber Dragon here, because it wasn't properly fusion summoned.
Correct. And exactly as you've called it, it looks like that Vengeance Dragon is going to be going over. Well, I don't know if Enya's reading it, but it looks like he's gone over to Enya's side.
Yeah, but now this Vengeance Dragon is like, he has his Snake Eye friends around him, and this card has a lot of value in Snake Eye.
It feels right at home.
Yeah.
I feel we're about to see Anua utilize the Vengeance Dragon against Tom right now.
Exactly, because now he can use the effect to destroy a card in the spawn trap colors. He can destroy the Gate Guardian. Or he can discard even the
King Sarcophagus.
I think it just destroys a continuous spell, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is really interesting. Yeah, it's a continuous spell on the field because the Snake Eye monsters treat themselves as continuous spells.
I suppose you probably don't want to destroy the Gate Guardian, because if it just leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you get special on any of the lower Gate Guardian kind of fusion monsters.
Oh, it's true. So we want to just keep it there. But now we are playing Vengeance Dragon Control.
Yeah, I think this definitely switched again.
Yeah, so he got attacked over by someone?
Maybe the Vidos, or it could have possibly been destroyed by one of the guidance effect.
Yeah, I want to highlight how much value we've gotten out of Snake Idea Belster this game. Snake Idea Belster has gone up, down, up, down, up, down, like 3 times.
Well, I mean, we're nearly halfway through of round number 1. Round 2, game number 1, and I can't even tell if there's a clear winner yet.
So it's really interesting because like Tom is really ahead of card advantage.
Yeah.
Tom has like a lot of cards, but he doesn't seem to have a way to out the Snake Idea Belster.
Yeah.
And this Flumber's Dragon just keeps
coming back,
keeps referring, and now he's gonna keep summoning cards. But he did out it here. Maybe he crashed aim side into it, and now. I think he crashed aim side or the Vitus. Does the Vitus like Raigeki or Dark Hole? It has an effect when it goes to grave, right?
Yeah, it could very well be that once it leaves... Is it leave the field? Destroy all cards on the field, I believe. If it's something your opponent's put to grave, destroy all monsters on the field.
So basically, I think Tom recognizes he needs to out this Flumber Dragon because he can't afford this Snake Idea Belster keep coming back.
Oh, second King Sarcophagus. So you're going to bring back all of the Horus monsters now.
Yeah, because none of them got summoned. But we're in main phase 2 now, right?
Yeah,
so this might mean that Iwan gets to keep his little Snake Eye monsters. Although with less Link monsters, without Link monsters, the Snake Eye monsters are way less threatening, right? Because they are buffed by the Divine Temple, but they're not too big. Definitely smaller than big Horus guys that we see.
Are we about to see... Has he got the Deity?
He has Deity in Grave, I believe. I think he used it, which I don't know if is where you want it to be.
We haven't seen the Horus the Black Frame Deity yet, have we? I don't believe we have.
No, I have a feeling he discarded it, but maybe I...
possibly.
I
mean, he did draw like 5 cards.
Yeah, apologizes, Troll. It's kind of hard to keep track of everything in this current state.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Tom just had to discard for the end of turn procedure as well.
Oh yeah, there was not even a King Sark discard. That is just hand limit. So we see a Chaotic Element, another card we see in current, usually searching a K9 monster.
Oh yes, the Queen of the Blaze. This is going to be so fun. So this one works so well. So this is Queen, bear with me, Queen of the Blazing Domain. So it can't be destroyed by card effects. If this card is in your hand, you get to target up to 2 cards you control, including a face-up spell or trap. Destroy them. If you do use special on this card, if you destroy just 1 card, you return it to the hand during the end phase. But if you destroy 2 cards, it gains an additional effect that any monster sent from the field to your opponent's grave is banished instead. So it means that resource loop of the Horus monsters will be addressed.
It also has a very cool synergy here that Yuan's able to use Snake Idea Bell. Oh, I don't know what's happening here.
I believe it looks like we're drawing multiple cards off of the back of the...
Oh, probably
Dufamet.
It's Dumataf, right?
Dumataf?
Yeah, because he triggered Happy to get back the King Sarcophagus.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it might be in Ewan's best interest to like go into a game 2 here. It seems like this is a very hard game to win from his scenario.
Yeah, I mean, the Horus monsters, it's quite an interesting match because, like you said, the Flambeau's Dragon is being very stubborn and sticking around, but some of the Horus monsters, they don't want to be going anywhere either.
It's just a stalemate. No one can out anyone. Every battle phase, like, you out some guys, more guys float, and you come back to the same state. But look at Ewan's hand. If anything, it's actually kind of complicated playing when you got so many cards in hand.
Yeah, because you then have to know what you want to discard, how do you want to play. You don't overcommit as well.
Yeah.
Make sure the resource you get is going to be useful in the match.
A lot of his cards are cards that would need cards to be in the deck.
Yeah.
So sometimes drawing too many cards can actually be a downside, where you get like a card like if you have a target that only summons from the deck, but then you draw it. We're gonna be seeing here everyone's favorite cards: Snake Eye Flumber's Dragon, not Flumber's Dragon, Snake Eye Diablo Star. Coming for its 5th or 6th battle phase of this game.
It's not messing around.
With the Queen of Blazing Domain. So now I believe that if Yuan is able to out some of the Horus monsters, he will be able to get rid of them for good. And Tom only plays 1 copy of each.
Yeah.
If there's no hidden ways of recycling them that we are not aware of.
I can't imagine there are any ways to recycle that. But the other thing that we do have is that we still have Walls of the Imperial Tomb, which is treated as King Sarcophagus on the field. So even without the King Sarcophagus, we still technically have one. And are we about to see... I feel there has to be a reason for the Darkest Deity, right? Is that the game winner?
The Darkest... maybe.
Where are we?
I think...
So, reveal this card in the hand, send 1 card from the hand or field to the grave, send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. That would get rid of the Diabell for sure.
Yep.
And then if one of your face-up Horus monsters accepts itself or King Sarcophagus you control leaves the field by an opponent's card, especially on this card from the hand, then you can send all other monsters on the field to the graveyard, and it's a base of 3,000 attack.
Okay, we're back to Tom's turn, and he's activating what I believe is a Gate Guardian card.
Yeah, so this is the Dark Element. This is probably going to be the win con. So we go from the Dark Element, go straight into the Dark Guardian. The Dark Guardian is always treated as a Gate Guardian card, but it is a 3,800 attack stat monster. It must be special via the Dark Element, which is why we have done it that way. And then on top of that, it can't be destroyed by battle. And if it's special by the effect of Dark Element, is unaffected by other monster effects or your opponent's activated spell effects.
And that beats Nick at Diabellstar.
Yeah, that's going to deal with that Diabellstar very, very quickly now, which is exactly what Tom was probably digging for. Getting rid of that, it now means that the Horus monsters should be free to kind of clear the rest of the Snake Eyes monsters off and then push through into the rest of the damage.
Yeah, I don't know if the Diabellstar actually still plays itself in the Spawn Trap Zone. I don't remember if he has to place both or if he will try to resolve as much as possible. But I don't believe he should make too much of a difference here because this Horus monster is really big.
Yeah.
And I believe Tom should have game by just attacking with the Dark Guardian into everyone.
Yeah. Keeping in mind as well that the Horus monster, the Dophomet is also 4,600, 4,800.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think it's 1,200 per.
He gets buffed per, right? So
Yeah.
we're going to be seeing here
Yeah, I
Tom
think
taking
you're
a very...
Seti.
Yeah.
And with Seti being a premium with the amount of points it currently has allocated, if you were to deal with that and banish it straight away, that can cause quite a lot of issues.
Yeah, also the life points in Gravedigger's Trap Hole is pretty relevant in this matchup because Tom does play Hero Lives for Elemental Hero Prisma, which does pay half your life points. So once you pay half, you're 2 Gravedigger's Trap Hole away.
From moving it out of the door. Exactly that. So we start off with Awakening of the Vidos.
That's, I think, what you want to start, right? Because it gives your opponent a field spell.
Yeah.
And it allows you to go Priestess, and Priestess summons another Ashen monster.
Yeah, so this will be, I believe it's the Warrior. King, sorry.
Okay.
So the King on this one, so as long as the Obsidian City is in the field spell, you get special on its card from the hand. Only special on it once per turn. During your main phase, you special on another Ashen monster from the hand, except itself. And you're kind of trying to work your way into the Vidos, which is exactly what we've seen here. So we've got 2 Priestesses, probably going to see a rank 4 coming down.
Oh, so I think here we're going to see a very cool thing that Ewan's deck does, which is, he has the ability of bridging between Ashen and Snake Eye by using Infernal Flame Banshee to search Snake Eye's Poplar, but he does choose to go for the Evil Swire Nightmare instead. Oh, he does have a Snake Eye Ash in hand, so he doesn't have to go. He just never summons the Ash.
For the breach.
So that's an extra interrupt with Evil Swire Nightmare is 2 Book of Moons, which is a way of interrupting Tom during his turn. And now we see Snake Eye Ash, Ash search Poplar, Poplar search Field Spell.
Tell me if you've heard this one before.
Oh, I have done this way too many times in my lifetime. I will let you know that much.
I think we're definitely going to be seeing the Diabell. I'd be amazed. Obviously, one way or another. There we go.
And then we're going to be sending Ash and Poplar for a copy of Oak, just to get Oak into rotation.
Yeah.
Oak gets to place Ash back. Puts one back, Poplar puts one of them back. You send them both again for Snake Eye's Flamberge Dragon.
Yep.
Snake Eye's Diabellstar summons itself up, and now we have 2 monsters in the Spawn Trap Zone to make the Doom Dragon. So very, very strong board here for Yuan.
Yeah, he's not messing around either. He's done this very, very quickly.
Yeah, he basically got to make a rank 4 in Snake Eye combo. That would be a good thing in advance 2 years ago. So I think you take that if you're Yuan. He uses that to search another copy of Vados. Vados is a really good interrupt in this matchup.
Vados is
so many
very important.
What does that monster do in the field? The Ashen he has?
Assuming it's the
king still, right?
The king from here?
Yeah, does the king have an effect?
So special on 1 Ashen monster from the deck, or if your opponent controls a monster, pretty much it just sits there. If that is the king, it looks like the king.
It looks like it's a king. So I think this is a level 8, right? So I don't wonder if does he play a rank 8 he can make?
I don't think I saw any rank 8s in Ewan's deck.
Oh, there's no rank 8.
No,
Yeah, there's a lot of level 8s, right? Between like the Diabell, the king, the Flamberge Dragon.
It could be. Is it part of fusion material? It could be. Yeah, you just need 2 pyro monsters to get to embers.
Oh, so go to see the trap here. So that's the trap that summons the big bad Vados.
The big bad Vados. Yeah, so this is the Ashen to the Endlessness. So during the main phase, I'm assuming this has been activated during Tom's main phase.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I think.
Because Tom would have had to activate something.
No, to be fair, he can activate the card, right? So he can. He's a continuous trap, so he can activate the effect, but he would be able to flip it. Tom has turn player priority.
Yeah.
So he has to make an action before Ewan has an open game state to Ashen to
go into the fusion. Yeah.
But he can still activate the card.
Yeah. But I think it looks like we have.
And now we see the thing.
Labyrinth Wall.
And we're gonna see Vados outing it.
Do you just... Oh, how much push has Tom got before he considers going into game number 3?
Yeah, we only have 13 minutes left on the clock. It's a very impressive board here, because like he has to deal with the Evil Storm Nightmare and Big Bad Vados.
Yeah. I wonder if... How much of the grind does Tom go through right now?
Yeah, I feel like it might be better to play game 3, but Tom knows his deck better than we do.
Yeah, exactly.
He has a lot of very explosive ways of dealing with the board, right? If he can get you the Dark Guardian again, the Dark Guardian by itself can basically be a game shot here.
Very true.
Regardless of how many monsters Yuan has, because he has the ability of attacking everything.
Just got to make sure that Dia Bell doesn't keep floating around. Is that a call by the grave? Wow. Ewan has the call by the grave for the Imseti.
Ooh, that is a very...
Yeah, he saw it and scooped it straight up into the Gate Guardian of Wind and Water, because this is one that will allow you to negate spells and traps.
Yeah.
But apart from the field spell, there wasn't a huge amount. Starting off with Imseti
the one off.
Insane.
The one off Imseti. One thing that I was going to mention is really scary for him if he starts with a field spell, because Vados is a hand trap, right? So if he tries to combo by using the Horus field spell, he can get hit by Vados.
Yeah.
But he does hit Imseti and the Ryoku spell. The Ryoku spell is going to allow him to search for a missing Gate Guardian piece.
Correct, yeah.
And he can get closer to establishing the Gate Guardian of Wind and Water.
Yeah. So we're summoning back the Imseti here. I think I saw a Skullmeister in Ewan's hand. I'm not sure how much graveyard...
There's the
ceremony bell. So it got kept in, so there has to be a reason for
this. It's not for the Vanquish Soul matchup.
No.
I am so curious.
Even Ewan had a bit of a laugh. I mean, if Tom's the winner on this one, then we're definitely going to be asking that question.
I am so shell shocked. That's one of the really cool things about Genesys, right? Like, when is the last time you thought you'd see a ceremonial bell?
2002, apparently.
Yeah.
2004. Okay, so it looks like we got Skullmeistered on the Ryuku, so we're not going to be allowing Tom to get access to one of those Gate Guardian pieces.
Yeah, but if you're Tom, I think that's one of those interactions you're probably fine with, because Ewan uses a hand interaction, but it doesn't, like, he's still playing, right? This Ryoku is basically a free card, because it was a free discard.
Yeah. So
I think you take that. You're still able to establish your Horus monsters, which seems to be the gameplay here. We do see the deity hitting the graveyard.
Yeah.
So we might be seeing the full gang.
Yeah, all of the Horus monsters are going to enter this field of play.
Maybe the end board is just Horus monsters.
I mean, you probably take that, don't you? Like, end on the 4 monsters, you don't play into Nibiru, you've got 1 set card as well along your spell and trap zone. You kind of open it up to Ewan, and I suppose Ewan's going to be a little bit more cautious here. Oh, it looks like he drew a DD Crow for turn, but he also did draw Super Polymerization. Oh, he has Super Polymerization.
Super Polymerization could be good. I don't know how it works with the Horus monster.
They're all different attributes.
Yeah.
They're all different types as well, I don't
remember like anything out of the top of my head that you're able to Super Poly against Horus.
No, I don't think there is. Unless he's playing his own Magister Strozo.
Yeah. There's only one dark one, right? Only
correct. Only Imseti
is a dark. They're not pyros, so you can't make Vados.
No.
It's not that much. That much of a Snake Eye Mirror.
Oh no!
No, he seems to not have drawn
set
engine
1,
here.
Set 2.
Oh, and Horus is not the deck you want to go slow against.
No, not at all.
Because those guys are there and those guys are big.
Okay, so we're drawing for turn on Tom. He's got plenty of time left on the clock now with this current game state, as it looks like this one. Depends on what those... I think if he makes a misstep, he could walk into that Super Polymerization, which is probably what he wants to try and avoid.
Yes. So one of the cards that we've seen he plays is Lancelot, which is a rank 8 that negates... it's a monster effect or resolution?
But it's all effects. It's a mandatory negation.
Yeah. So we're going to just be seeing here the good old attack.
Yeah, I think so. Attacking with... attacking over the oak.
Yeah, and you'll see Ewan looking for Super Polymerization targets.
I don't think there's anything there.
But it seems like we're just going to be able to swing for game.
Yeah, that was it. Very good duel. Oh, it was double.